Thomas Gross sat across from detectives.
We need to get past you so we can move on, right? That's not.
I did not kill my mom.
It was the neighbor across the street said they seen you in the garage after 11 o'clock with the car running and you in the car.
I don't recall bringing the car into the garage last night. I recall my mom bringing the car into the
Where
garage.
does she normally keep her car?
There's physical evidence that doesn't match what you're telling us, and we got to reconcile.
I think you're looking for something that isn't there.
Thomas believed his timeline would hold. He didn't expect it to be dismantled, not by force, but by his own words. So who was Thomas Gross? What really happened inside that garage on January 9th, 2012? And how did detectives use psychology to slowly corner a man who never thought he would slip? Welcome back to the channel. Your single comment means more than you think. A chilling 911 call that changed the entire morning of a Florida winter.
Oh, it's my mom.
Are you with her now?
Yeah, I'm looking at her.
Okay, how old's your mom?
79. She's murdered.
She's murdered?
Murdered.
On the line was Thomas Gross, his voice controlled but strained, reporting a strange and horrifying discovery stating, "I think my mother is dead." His mother, Ina Gross, lying dead in the garage and was surrounded by blood, a knife placed beside her, telling a completely different story. It was January 9th, 2012, just after 5:30 a.m. in Pinellas County. The early morning air was cool, the sky still dim as deputies arrived at the scene. Inside the garage, they found 78-year-old Ina Gross, lifeless, her body positioned near a vehicle with signs of violence that immediately ruled out natural causes. The crime scene felt staged, yet chaotic. Blood patterns, displaced objects, and subtle disturbances that didn't align with a simple narrative. Thomas told investigators he had woken up moments earlier, preparing to catch a morning flight. He claimed he walked through the house looking for his mother, eventually noticing the family dog in the garage, licking blood. That's when he said he found her. But the timeline didn't sit right. Neighbors reported hearing unusual noises during the night, garage activity, movement, sounds that contradicted his version of events. Inside the home, detectives noted inconsistencies, details that shifted, memories that blurred, and explanations that grew less certain with repetition. Thomas wasn't just the one who found the body. He was the last known person with her, and they brought him to interrogation. Today, we will look into the psychological aspects of this case.
My name is Stephen Knott.
Hi, Tom Chris. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
We're
Different circumstances.
Yeah. Great minds. When my father passed away, he had been ill, and he had a unique illness. It was, on the one hand, 100% certain he would pass away.
Right.
On the other hand, it didn't prevent him from doing anything. That is, it hit the bone marrow, the cells that grow inside your bone marrow, the red
Right.
cells, the white cells, that kind of stuff. So as long as he could get shots and/or transfusions from time to time, it kept him going for 8 months. But we knew he'd pass away,
Right.
and he told us, and he said that's his profession, and it was very clear, very, very clear. And thank you.
Welcome.
And so I had this unbelievable sadness when it occurred. I remember eating, like even overeating, because you get just so hungry now.
We're going to go ahead and record this,
Sure.
all right?
That's fine.
Just so there's no mistakes
That's
about it,
fine.
and then we can refer back to it. And because this, I just want to make clear that, you're not under arrest, okay, and you're free to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just want you to know that. I mean, I don't want you to think because we're sitting in this room that you're not free to leave.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay?
We have to tell you that.
Okay.
Well, and I want you to feel comfortable. You're not under arrest, and it's just what it means.
Yeah.
You're not under arrest, and you're free to leave.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I know that. I mean,
But it just,
The detective opens by sharing a deeply personal story about his own father's death, mirroring the suspect's emotional situation. This is not casual empathy. It is strategic alignment. The tactic draws on social penetration theory, which posits that self-disclosure fosters reciprocal openness. By going first, revealing vulnerability, the detective subtly pressures the suspect to match that emotional transparency, even if what follows is constructed rather than genuine.
Go ahead.
All right, what we want to do is we want to go through exactly what happened yesterday and then last night and then what led up to this morning, okay? From about probably the time you woke up yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning.
Yeah, we want to go through the whole day.
Okay. And this is, I don't have to write this down because it's being recorded,
No, 'cause
right?
we're recording.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
All right, but I might take notes if you don't mind.
Yesterday morning is Sunday morning?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
My sister Ellen, who you met, I'm going back a bit to give you a background, was in Baltimore for business and she was ill. She went there despite having a bad bronchitis. And therefore, neither my mom nor I had an opportunity to see her on Saturday. We made plans and we carried out these plans to see her and Dave on Sunday. We had thought that maybe we would drive up to Lutz, which my mother often does.
Who's Dave?
I'm sorry, Dave is my sister-in-law's husband.
Okay, so your brother-in-law.
My brother-in-law. You have to do a lot.
That's okay.
However, my sister said she was feeling well enough and that we would meet in St. Petersburg at one of those nice restaurants they have on the water there.
This is yesterday.
Just yesterday.
Okay.
We were originally going to meet them earlier, but Ellen, despite being sick, had some work to do, and it ended up that we met around 1:30, which means we left around 12:30 or 1:45 or whatever. So, around 11 o'clock, my mom and I went to do some clothes shopping for my daughter Yulia, which is spelled Y-U-L-I-A. We went to Kohl's in Lakewood Ranch. I don't know exactly where that is, but you guys probably do.
Yes.
And I bought 2 shirts at Kohl's.
Instead of interrupting, the detective allows, and even encourages, the suspect to give long, detailed narratives about his day. On the surface, this appears cooperative. In reality, it's a trap. Fabricated accounts require significantly more mental effort to maintain than truthful ones. This tactic is rooted in cognitive load theory, which explains that working memory has limited capacity. The more complex the task, like sustaining a lie, the more likely errors will emerge under pressure.
She has no idea whether she's making money, and if so, she doesn't know whether she's making the money only from the lottery or also from the business. Excuse me. And I made the suggestion, and my mom wanted me to mention this to Abby, that she consider the possibility of getting rid of the video store, turning it over to anybody, or selling it off, or having somebody move in and make a clothing store, and just keep the square footage for the lottery. And that was dinner conversation.
Okay, so you go to bed at 10:45.
Thereabouts. I mean, that's a guess. I'm not, you know.
Right, but you leave your mom, she's still watching TV.
I think so.
Where was
Yes,
you
sir.
watching TV? What room are you guys in watching?
There's a living room. There are 2 couches. So like, you're the television. I'm lying on the couch that goes like this. She and the dog are lying on the couch that go like this.
The one that's got the towel, the blanket or the towel on it.
I have no idea. There's a red thing. It could be in either one.
Yeah.
But it could be in either one. I have no
Okay.
idea which one is on.
Okay.
All right, so again, you go to bed, and your mom's on the couch with the dog.
I hear, I think fairly early in the evening, not.
Well, let me ask you this real
Yeah,
quick.
sure.
When you get home, you're driving.
Home at 9:20.
Right, you get home at 9:20. Do you park the car in the garage? Or
No,
do you-
not yet.
All right, how does the car get in the garage?
Presume that my mother brings it in.
Okay. So did you go in the garage any other time then, until you found your mother?
What do you mean?
Were you in the garage from any time from when you guys came home at 9:20 to to when you found her this morning? Had you gone back to the garage or anything?
Other than when you found her?
I'm thinking. We had a thing of tomato paste that she wanted me to throw out. There's a, when you go into the garage, here's my mom's car, here's the other car. On the left, there's a bin of recyclables.
Okay.
I threw out tomato paste.
The detective revisits the same events multiple times, but from slightly different angles. For example, questions about clothing, timing, and movements are reintroduced later with minor variations. This approach is grounded in the encoding specificity principle, which states that genuine memories are more consistently retrieved when contextual cues are stable. By subtly altering those cues,
When you enter the house through the garage, you go to your left, there's a room, and that room has hangers. And my dress shirt and my dress suit and my dress shoes are all in that closet. The shoes that I wore yesterday were in the bedroom I was sleeping in, and I assume I put them on when I got up. I don't know. They're either in the bedroom or in the living room, or maybe I had them when I saw my mother. I don't know.
All right, so you go to the movie.
Okay, so we leave at 9. We're home at 9:20. We have.
Is there any alarm or anything in the house?
There is, and
Do you guys set it, or
no,
does
my
your
mom
use it?
No, I'm told by some of the neighbors that she uses it when she's home alone. I've never seen her use it, and my sister Ellen told me today that whenever anyone's over the house, she never uses it.
Okay, now,
The code is 5418.
when you left, did you secure the house, front door, or is it front door always stay locked? And you use the garage door opener?
The front door should be locked. I don't know whether it was. I'm not saying it wasn't. I don't know. I didn't check. And the garage, you leave through the garage door. There's also a back door.
Let me ask you this. Since you've been here, have you gone in and out of the front door?
Of course.
So you don't just use the garage door?
Oh no.
So what point was the garage door unsecured?
Just leaving the house between 7 and 9, or 20 of 7 and 9:20. You know.
All right, but it would have been secured.
At usually around 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, either I or my mother walks, if I'm here, walks the dog, and occasionally, but not often, she walks the dog one more time just to take a pee. She'll walk the dog at 9:30 to give him 5 or 6 minutes, 10 minutes of exercise, and then sometimes she'll take him out at 11 to just pee on the grass.
All right, let's go
When she
specifically
finishes
what
that,
happened last night.
okay. When she finishes that pee with the dog, she shuts the garage door. The car, she brings the car in. If it's not in, she shuts the garage door. She locks the front door.
the detective shifts focus from abstract storytelling to concrete, physical details, doors, alarms, garage usage, object placement. This move anchors the narrative in the physical world, where inconsistencies are harder to conceal. This tactic leverages reality monitoring theory, which distinguishes between memories derived from real experiences and those generated internally. Real memories contain sensory and contextual detail that align with physical constraints.
But I'm thinking, I'm not sure of this. This is with a parenthesis or whatever you guys do. The same color shirt she had on, but I don't even know what color that is.
She had a blue sweater on.
That doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Blue jeans.
Maybe. Blue jeans are common for her. She wears a lot of blue jeans.
Sneakers.
She has white sneakers.
What was she wearing when you guys went to the movies, you know?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I suspect blue jeans. The white sneakers, I don't know. Maybe that would make sense. That would make sense. Blue jeans, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
The blue jeans, I know. The sneakers, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm so very
So
tired.
You
I'm very
don't
tired.
know about,
The sneakers, but that would make sense. She used to wear white sneakers a lot. So the movie ends. I'm sorry.
So what were you wearing?
Yesterday, I believe I was wearing a. It's not red, like I don't know, red. It's not red like that, but more red than any other color shirt.
Okay. Like a long sleeve shorts?
No. A cotton. It's like your type of shirt.
Okay.
But it wasn't all red. It was red. It was like yours is mostly white. This was mostly red, except it wasn't red. It was more burgundy or whatever.
Okay.
where would that be in the house?
In my suitcase.
In your suitcase? Where's your suitcase?
My suitcase is in what used to be my father's study. We hide the suitcases from Nicky because Nicky gets very depressed when he sees a suitcase because he knows it implies travel.
That's a dog.
So I packed up last night, except for wearing my suit. I had my jeans that I wore yesterday, the jeans that you guys have now taken for inventory or whatever it is, there's a word for it, I forgot the word, that I wore last night, and I left my suit out. I have a dark gray, almost black suit with a blue shirt and a purple tie.
All right, so yesterday you were wearing this reddish.
I was wearing a
polo
reddish
shirt.
type shirt with the same blue jeans I had on this morning because that's what I put on when I got out of bed. I didn't want to walk around half naked through the house, obviously.
As the questioning intensifies, the suspect repeatedly emphasizes exhaustion. I'm very tired. While this may be genuine, it also functions as a psychological buffer. This dynamic aligns with attribution theory, which examines how individuals explain behavior. By letting the suspect attribute potential errors to fatigue,
We don't do that anymore.
Okay.
We photograph it all. But,
Because
you know what
Steve
we
was
could
saying,
do?
please, bear with me. Steve was saying something, if I correct me if I'm misquoting you, that it was not possible for me to give my mother compressions. I'm telling you, and I'm hoping that the evidence will demonstrate that something is wrong. It's not either I don't. It's not for me to speculate. Something fell over. Something wasn't. I was unequivocally able to give compressions, and I have no recollection of moving my mom's body, with the exception of removing the metal wiring, whatever it is, the shelving.
And the knife. Took the knife out.
Yeah, but I don't recall moving her body to do so. I mean,
Right, but you altered the crime scene. You moved the knife out. Took the knife out of her neck.
I'm not talking about that. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's not. I wasn't referring to that. I'm talking about her body.
Well, again, we're talking about details, and details are, you remove the knife, and then you remove the wire shelving. But then what Steve is saying...
I removed the wire shelving first.
Right, but what Steve is saying is that the wire shelving is moved back. Because what Steve is saying, it's almost physically impossible for you to do...
Then something must... Then you got to determine. You have to determine, because with all respect, you're wrong. I mean...
Okay.
You see what you see. I'd like to go. I'd like to go there. I'd like to go there with you because you're wrong. And I'm hoping,
What I'd like to do...
as disgusting as it is, I'm hoping that my mom's chest will show that you're wrong.
What I'd like to do is at a later time, probably not today, but maybe tomorrow, is show you these crime scene photos in black and white.
Absolutely.
Or actually in color. All right, and you can see what we're seeing.
I'd like to do. I'd like to be one step better.
toward the later part of the interrogation, detectives reference crime scene photographs and physical inconsistencies, specifically the removal of the knife. Rather than confronting aggressively, they frame it as something the suspect will need to explain. This tactic leverages expectancy violation theory, where individuals experience cognitive stress when they anticipate their narrative will conflict with external proof. By signaling future confrontation,
I recall going into that room. I do not know. I guess it's logical. I went into that room before. I looked down the hallway or walked down the hallway. I don't know what lights were on in the house. I don't know what lights I turned on in the house.
Okay.
All I know is I either looked down the hall or walked down the hall. There are two washing and dryer on the left. I saw Nikki and I saw my mom, and I went out and I saw that it was bad.
Okay.
For what it's worth, I don't recall seeing a knife at that point. I recall seeing blood. I recall seeing Nikki drinking blood, licking blood, and saying, "Nikki, this is disgusting." And going back and getting towels and getting the phone to call 911 and getting there. And then, again, I don't know. I guess I called 911 before I lifted the rack. That would make sense. I was seeing my mom's head, and this is very clear to me. You guys are focusing on whatever, I don't know why you focus on something. I just recall seeing her head between these two pieces, recall moving them away, because she told me to raise the forehead. Then I saw this knife. I remember pulling the knife out. I do not know if there was any gush of blood when the knife came out.
Okay.
I do not know if I did further damage. I don't even understand the question. I just recall being sick to my stomach and completely aware that my mother was dead and murdered and not suicide.
Okay.
And I didn't do it. I recall then, as I've said, saying in the phone, she's saying, "Breathe too." I think I did it. I think I recall saying, "She's dead." And then she says, "Do 600 compressions and put the phone over here," and I was able to do it.
Okay.
There's something over there on the left. You guys know what it is. I don't know what it is. There was, you took photographs. You can take a look.
The detectives repeatedly pressed the suspect on highly specific physical actions. Angle of a knife, resistance when pulling it out, hand used, sequence of movements. These are not random details. They're precision traps. Real experiences tend to encode sensory and procedural memory more naturally. This tactic is grounded in source monitoring theory, which explains that individuals struggle to distinguish between real memories and imagined or inferred ones, especially when forced into high-detail recall.
And I would therefore, with a penalty, have to take the following flight. There are other flights. I don't know when. I don't check the schedule.
Did you sleep pretty good last night? You sound sleeper?
I usually am a very sound sleeper. I usually have no trouble waking up when someone says, "Tom, get up." But I sleep. I sleep well. That is, when I put my head down, I go to sleep. I don't roll in bed or anything like that.
But you're not a sound sleeper. Like if the dog barked, you would have heard it, or
I'm 99,
doors were banging.
95% sure plus. But if I heard doors banging and or I heard Nikki barking, I would have awakened.
Let me ask you this: is it normal for you when you wake up to go under a shower? Because usually when I wake up, I'm sure when you wake
Yes,
up.
it's actually very normal for me to put my head on.
I go to a faucet and I turn on the cold water and get the sleep out of my eyes.
No, it's normal for me to put my head underneath the shower.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, and did you have your jeans on when you did that, or just?
I'm sure I had my jeans on. I'm sure I had my jeans on.
And then you put your socks and shoes on.
I don't. Yeah, probably. No. I'm gonna be answering carefully. I don't know. I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. I think so. I don't know.
No, if you don't know, you don't know.
Maybe you guys in your profession have learned to be very careful of monitoring your daily activities. All the minutia.
Well, yeah, and we have an eye for detail, and that's our job, okay? Right. But you being a financial advisor also have to have an eye for detail, different things.
You keep on referring to me as an intelligent guy. I take that as a compliment. I don't know if I remember what I put my socks and shoes on.
But you're a smart guy.
You said that you had chili with your mom, and you said you said probably several glasses of wine, and you had...
Between 1 and 2. I don't think she had more than 2.
Okay, and you had 1?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of glass were you drinking out of wine glasses?
No. It was funny last night. She usually drinks out of a wine glass. Mm-hmm. She took 2 non-wine glasses. Mm-hmm. I remember very clearly, this is one thing I remember. He said, I know you have your reasons. These are incredible questions. We had large water glasses that I brought to the table.
The detectives shift focus to the absence of expected stimuli. No barking dog, no door sounds, no disturbances. This is a subtle but powerful tactic. Instead of confronting what did happen, they highlight what should have happened but didn't. By doing so, they create an implicit contradiction between the suspect's narrative and normal environmental behavior. This approach draws on schema theory, which posits that people rely on mental frameworks of how events typically unfold.
Just asking what you remember.
Steve, the reason you guys are asking me this is to determine whether I may have done this horrendous act and I did not. And that's what bothers me.
We're trying to account for things in the house.
I believe she drank out of a small orange juice glass with maybe 6 sides.
Okay. What about you? What were you drinking out of?
I believe I drank out of a wider glass, kind of like a whiskey glass.
Okay. Okay.
But these are my best.
Right.
I mean,
That's all I'm asking for is your recollection.
that's it's my best recollection.
Okay. What did you do with your glass when you finished? Did you guys clear everything up? Because what I'm essentially asking you is that did you guys drink your wine after dinner or during dinner or both?
My mom typically drinks during and after. I don't know whether she drank after. I know she drank during.
Okay. What about you?
I had during and after, but it was the same glass.
Okay.
We have a counter with 2 levels. I assume I put my glass on one of those levels. I don't know which one.
Okay. Up on top of the counter by the sink or somewhere?
Either on top of the counter or the lower part. I mean, I don't know.
Where, do you know where your mom put hers?
I have no idea.
Okay. Okay.
I did the dishes.
Okay.
I
That was
did
the next question I was going to ask. Is who did the
I
dishes?
did the dishes, and I put all the stuff in the sink
Okay.
to the left.
Yeah, in the drying rack.
Well, yeah, it's kind of a mangled thing.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me one more time. Just trying to really understand order of events here. Okay.
I'll do my best.
That's all I'm asking
I'm
for.
going to tell you again,
Mhm.
you probably know this. This is an uncomfortable feeling because instead of providing information as best I have, sitting in this seat, you feel that you're a bit on the wrong side of the table.
Okay.
At a critical moment, the detective states there are discrepancies in the suspect's account, but deliberately withholds specifics. This ambiguity is strategic. It forces the suspect into a state of uncertainty. This tactic is rooted in information gap theory, which suggests that humans experience a strong cognitive drive to resolve gaps in knowledge. By creating an undefined discrepancy,
You wrote that up.
Okay.
All right. But if there's something about the car running at 4 o'clock in the morning. There's
I
something
know
about the
nothing
garage
about
door
that.
going up.
Fine, I know nothing about that.
But it was you that was seen with the car running.
Well, this was at
The
11.
garage.
No, this was at like a 10:30 to 11.
Right.
There's 2 different times that you've seen, and that's one of the discrepancies. Is we can't account for what the neighbor's saying and what you're saying.
You know whether that's at 11:15 or 11 o'clock at night?
But you said you went to bed at a quarter to
I
11.
do believe I did.
And we asked you specifically
Yes,
if
you
you went
did.
into the garage.
And I
You
said no.
You said the only reason I went into the garage was to put the can
Tomato
of empty
paste.
tomato paste in the recycling bin. That's what you said.
That is
And we
correct.
said, what time? And you said
9:30.
9:30. Right.
That's right.
That's what you said.
That's correct.
But that's in direct contradiction to what the neighbor's saying across the street.
Then-
The neighbor said specifically, seen you in the car. And you seen the neighbor and the garage door went down. So how do we count for that?
I don't.
But there's
I
a
don't.
reason. There's a reason that
I don't recall being in the garage at that time.
let me ask you this. This is a stupid question, but if you did kill your mother, would you admit it? If you did. If you did kill your mother, would you admit it?
I can't imagine doing it.
I said it was a stupid question.
I can't imagine admitting it.
But if you did do it, would you admit it?
You're painting me to, I don't know where this is going, but it's not good, but I'll answer your question. I don't even know why you asked that question. The only reason why anybody, myself included, would admit to doing something if there is an explanation which legitimizes it. I had no reason, I have no reason to hurt my mom.
the detective introduces a statement from a neighbor, placing the suspect in the garage at a time that directly conflicts with his earlier timeline. This is not just presenting evidence. It is a calculated disruption of narrative control. By attributing the contradiction to an external witness, the detective removes himself as the source of accusation. This tactic is grounded in cognitive dissonance theory, where conflicting information, his memory versus the witness account, creates psychological discomfort, often leading individuals to revise, hedge, or weaken their original statements, exposing instability in their narrative.
I mean,
Well, actually, the better question is, do you remember moving her?
I don't. I don't believe that I did.
What'd you do with the towels?
They were there. I don't know. They were just.
Did you start like?
No.
Did you put the
Yeah, but it was
towel
all
in?
blood. It was all blood everywhere. And then I put my leg down, and it was full of blood where my leg was when I'm going like this, and there's blood underneath her neck and blood over there to my left. To my left, there's blood. So there's blood where my knee is here. This is me. Yes.
Yeah.
My knee is here. There's blood. There's blood over here, and there's blood all over here. This is blood.
And you put the towels on top of the blood, correct?
Well, initially I thought I was going to put them on my mom, but it was. Then she said, "No, you got to give her the percussion." So anyway, I counted up to 240, and it was ridiculous. She was just dead.
How did you know you broke her breast?
I heard it. I mean, the autopsy will tell you guys. I heard it. I'd be very. This is really morbid. I'd like to know that, but I'm sure I did that.
But you heard it correct?
I believe I did, sir.
It's actually it's very, very normal for that to occur.
Actually, if you do it correct.
Yeah, if you do it right, you will.
You will crack it.
Oh yeah, if you do it right, you'll do it. You'll
Well, I
wreck it.
said to the 911 lady that over 20 years ago I took a CPR course, but she
Yeah.
said, "Well, things have changed."
You went to bed at 10:45.
More or less, yeah.
You didn't get up at any time.
I did. The pee.
Okay. You didn't hear anything. Any
I
bangs?
did. Bang? No. What I heard until
You didn't hear.
latest at 1 o'clock, if not earlier, if not midnight, if not 11:30, pitter patter.
Well, you told me that you heard your mom up.
Pitter patter.
But no loud noises.
Absolutely not.
Nothing that would have woke the neighbors.
Absolutely not.
I mean, just.
Absolutely not.
And
Absolutely
is
not.
that usual for your mother? Like to
Pitter patter?
To get up.
The detective repeatedly narrows the timeline, moving from broad events, you went to bed, to precise windows, 10:30, 10:45, 11 o'clock. Each iteration forces the suspect to refine his account under increasing pressure. This tactic draws on the temporal construal theory, which explains that people recall distant events abstractly but struggle with accuracy when forced into concrete, time-specific reconstruction.
All right. So you see your mom. And what's,
So there's vomit in the car?
yes, sir. So the first thing you see.
There's vomit in the car.
Yes, sir. The first thing you see when you see your
I
mom.
don't know what that means.
What do you do? This is very important. What do you do? Because we have to explain physical
After
evidence.
I take after I wanna puke. I go and I pick up the phone from the kitchen.
So you leave your mom, you go back into the kitchen.
Pick up the phone,
This is the house phone.
the house phone,
Okay.
and I pick up towels from the bathroom where I take a shower, which is the one near the bedroom, and the bathroom where it is near the room where I had the suit and tie.
Let me ask you this. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you, but you didn't go and check on her and see what happened? Because I would assume there's no light in the garage. But a light probably wasn't on.
I have no idea whether I was on or not.
All right, but, I mean, so you actually
I don't-
seen her enough to get towels to what, to clean
I
up the
was
blood?
there. I was there.
See, but she was underneath the car kind of, and that's why I'm curious.
I removed. There was not.
So that's why I said this is
I
very
removed-
important, Tom.
There was a shoe rack. A metal, thin metal shoe rack.
Right.
And her head was between the two pieces of the metal shoe rack. I removed the shoe rack. And if you're asking me whether that happened before I got the towels and the phone for 911 or after, I have no idea.
Okay, where was the shoe rack at originally?
Well, first,
Where does it normally live?
When a suspect suddenly introduces a new detail, putting his head under the shower, the detective immediately contrasts it with his earlier inability to recall basic actions. This tactic is rooted in cue-dependent memory theory, which suggests that recall is triggered by contextual cues. When a suspect recalls isolated details without consistent contextual linkage, it can indicate reconstruction rather than genuine memory.
And the third thing is that if you can save yourself, and if you can save your friend, your parents, etc., then kill as many of them as you possibly can.
Talking about Nazis.
Of course.
Right.
What I'm saying.
With all due respect, what does the Holocaust and all have anything to do with?
Oh, you talked about suicide.
Right.
My point is that I think it's my obligation. Please, unless it's. Does it say Zach?
Yes.
Okay, you can just kill it. Zach is the nephew of David. I think it's my obligation to do whatever is necessary so that my kids will have the wonderful future that they deserve. But I'm not suicidal.
Okay, but that wouldn't include you committing suicide.
That's the hope. Well, no.
Because, I mean,
You asked me about suicidal. No, I'm talking about what in circumstances in which I'm willing to give my life for my kid.
Well, sacrifice and suicide is different.
Okay. No, I'm not suicidal.
because there might be carbon monoxide that was in the garage, and then someone vomited in the car. So it's not making sense, and I understand.
Put the pieces together.
Perplexion.
Oh, I'm not perplexed.
If you got the pieces to put
I don't
together,
put it-
can you explain it to me?
No, John. I pretend that's a message.
Yes.
I did not murder.
I'm not saying that, okay? What I'm saying is we need to put the pieces together, okay?
I can't control. I have nothing. I don't know anything about carbon monoxide.
Well, someone puked in the car.
It wasn't me.
Okay, so maybe.
And I'm speaking of puking. I presume that you can tell from DNA. I'm assuming who did the puking. It wasn't me, for better or for worse.
Are you familiar with Luminol?
I have no idea what that is.
Luminol is a spray that we have to put on at night. And the reason I'm telling you about this is because we want to be as thorough as possible when we do the crime scene investigation, the CSI crap. And so we're going to have to hold the house until after dark tonight. I mean,
Well, what do I do?
well, nothing. I'm just being.
No, I mean, where do I go when we're
Well,
done?
maybe one of the neighbors or something. After we're done,
They
we're going
would.
to drive you back
When do I get into the house, if at all?
as soon as we can release it.
Which would be approximately when?
I want to say
Probably tomorrow.
Be
To
safe.
be real honest with you, be very safe. Probably tomorrow.
tomorrow or maybe even tonight.
Can someone go in and get some medications for me?
Yes.
Normal medications that we discussed
Yeah, of
earlier
course.
today?
Of course.
Now, you're not on any psych meds or anything like
You
that,
asked me
right?
about that. No, not
Right.
at all.
Okay. I just want to be perfectly clear about that. All right. You're on like.
The detective introduces alternative explanations: carbon monoxide, a running car, vomit in the vehicle, not as accusations, but as unresolved puzzle pieces. This technique expands the narrative field, forcing the suspect to account for scenarios he had not previously considered. This tactic leverages availability heuristic, where presenting vivid alternative scenarios makes them cognitively salient. As these possibilities become more thinkable, the suspect is compelled to respond, often improvising explanations that may conflict with earlier statements.
A different thought
So,
than I am as to
I told
who
you
the killer
before
is.
what we need to do. Okay. We need to get past you so we can move on. Right.
Right.
Isn't that? I mean, you're an intelligent guy.
I
Doesn't
know.
that make sense to you?
Yes, John, it makes sense. What you're ignoring, and there's nothing with logic here. What time is it again? I'll tell you what I'm asking.
2:45.
2:45.
Yes, sir.
I got up at, let's say, 5:15, more or less. 9.5 hours ago, if I'm not mistaken. I'm very tired now. I get that it's been an exhausting day.
With all due respect, okay.
9.5 hours ago.
I had the same amount of sleep. Now I didn't go through the trauma that you went
That's the
through.
whole point.
Okay.
So 9.5.
But if you slept through the whole night,
I know, I was plenty alert. 9.5 hours ago, I saw.
it was very traumatic, and we're giving you the benefit of the doubt with that.
I saw the most.
Horrific. It was definitely horrific.
When I first saw my mom from a distance, and you will know better than I, of I'm guessing 3 feet, and with me being up here and she being on the ground, it was bad. When I came back and whatever the word is, take off the 2 wires and lift her head up.
It was a shelving. It was wire shelving.
Wire shelving, thank you.
All right.
That
Actually
was
part of the shoe
This
rack.
is not the first time that you have seen something along that line. This is the first time that I have seen something along that line. And it was horrendous.
And then we got to magnify it another 100% because it was your mother. This just wasn't no stranger.
It was horrendous.
As the suspect openly admits exhaustion, "I'm very tired. It's been an exhausting day." The detectives do not pause or reduce intensity. Instead, they continue pressing details and contradictions. This is deliberate. This tactic draws on ego depletion theory, which suggests that self-control and mental regulation are finite resources. As those resources diminish under stress and fatigue, individuals become less capable of sustaining deception or carefully managing responses.
I will strongly think about it.
I know you want to.
I do.
Want to cooperate.
Yeah, I do. But
It's
it's not. It's not. I mean, you guys do what you have to do, but as you said, no one is unintelligent here.
right, and we're after the same goal. See, we are after the same goal.
Not quite.
Oh no, sir. We want to catch a killer here.
Right.
You want to catch a killer, and I want to catch a killer.
But you are thinking a different thought
Sir,
than I am as to
I told
who
you
the killer
before
is.
what we need to do. Okay, we need to get past you so we can move on. Right?
Right.
And isn't that? I mean, you're an intelligent guy.
I
Doesn't
know.
that make sense to you?
Yes, John, it makes sense. What you're ignoring, and there's nothing with logic here. What time is it again? I'll tell you what I'm asking.
2:45.
2:45?
Yes, sir.
I got up at, let's say, 5:15, more or less.
The detective repeatedly emphasizes we're after the same goal, positioning the interrogation as a cooperative effort rather than an adversarial one. However, the suspect resists this framing, correctly noting that their goals are not identical. This tactic is designed to reduce psychological resistance by creating an illusion of shared purpose, encouraging openness and compliance. When a suspect believes they are collaborating rather than defending, they are more likely to volunteer information. This approach is rooted in shared reality theory, which posits that people are more willing to align their thoughts and disclosures when they perceive a common understanding or mutual objective with others.
He was inside. He was in the garage. He was in the garage.
Okay, but I'm just curious how you would have seen from the hallway, because the.
I don't know. I heard him. I don't know, sir.
You said you were walking back into that old study where your suit and such was.
Right.
Was there any lights on? Because now it's like 5. So let's say 5:30.
Yeah, but I don't know where the lights are, sir.
No, but
I
when
don't-
you were walking around looking for your mom, were the lights on and turning
There's some
on
lights on. Yeah, of course. I don't know which lights are on and which lights are off. I have no idea.
Well, think. I mean, it's pretty important because whoever came in there could have turned lights on. Or,
Okay, it's, you're a detective. You think about these things.
right, and that's why I'm asking you to think. You have a graduate degree. You're a smart guy,
I don't know.
right?
You're being nice.
Did you use the restroom when you got up?
Probably. I definitely used it at night.
Which restroom were you using? There's 3.
Well, I've used all 3. During the night, I tend to use only the restroom that's near the bedroom I'm in. But I've used the one in my mom's room, and I've used the one in the when you walk through the garage and you go out to the left. There's a restroom there. I've used that as well.
Which one? You said you think you may have used the restroom when you got up, when you went looking for your mom.
The one that would be immediately near me.
Okay. Do you remember doing that, or?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's not the kind of thing you tend to think about.
Right. I don't mark it on my calendar either. I'm just wondering if you remember.
I know at my age I have to get up during the night.
I
Me and you are the same age.
I got up during the night.
It's not funny.
No.
Say that. No, it's not.
Yes.
See, he's laughing.
No, just
I have one.
you wait.
Yeah.
Your time will come.
You have to put it on your calendar.
Glasses too,
Oh, well, I need them. I don't wear them, but I need them.
just for close or far.
For reading.
All right, so let's just nail down this thing with the door. I have a concern about that because it's
The detectives introduce physical evidence: vomit in the car, the position of the body, the shoe rack, blood patterns, and subtly contrast it with the suspect's account without outright accusation. This creates a psychological dilemma. Either adjust the story or risk appearing deceptive.
It was the bottom, one piece was here and one piece was here. I don't recall how I did it. It wasn't difficult. I pushed it up, and now, to the best of my recollection, it was no longer on her or covering her, and to the best of my recollection, it was somewhere over there to my left.
Okay, so you picked it up, the whole thing up, and you moved it. Is that
No,
Okay.
there was a part of it, just two pieces, that were covering, not covering, that's the wrong word, but were one here and one here. And I picked it up.
Okay.
I don't know about any of the other pieces. I don't know how it's constructed.
Okay.
I would like to see it, but I can tell you that I'm only talking about only two pieces of wire.
Okay.
And therefore, it had, to the best of my recollection, no impact whatsoever on compressions. I did 240 or 250 compressions, and other than breaking her breastbone on the first two, I don't recall any other anything.
Okay. Now you moved the wire rack.
Yes,
The
I.
shoe rack.
Yes,
Okay.
the top,
Yeah.
these two pieces.
Right. As I said, you moved that. Okay. Was that before or after you went and retrieved the phone and the towels?
Definitely after.
That was after.
Yes.
Okay. So you.
I'm as 99% clear, certain it was
Okay.
after. You know, that's my recollection.
That's all I'm
well,
looking
it
for.
had
Is
to
your
because
recollection.
you already said that they told you to do CPR, so you had to be on the phone.
No, the phone is something else, John. There's nothing.
Oh, you had to get the phone before you started CPR.
To the best of, okay, that's true, but I wasn't about the compressions. To the best of my knowledge, and I'm repeating myself, I had to remove the wire racks even before I began. I gave her, I think she said 2 breaths. I think.
Okay.
Again, you'll hear the tape, you know.
Okay, and then with the knife, you moved the knife.
I moved first the metal pieces,
Okay. That was
and
the
then
first
and
thing.
the knife. No, yes, and then she said, put your hand on her forehead,
Okay.
and another hand here,
Mhm.
and I did, and it was disgusting.
Okay.
I know it's your job, but you guys are making me relive it, and I'm not crazy about it.
Sorry.
I know. And the knife was there, and I pulled the
Honestly.
knife out, and whether I pulled it out with this hand or this hand, you can tell by looking at the fingerprints on it. I have no idea. I wasn't.
What was the next thing you did after you tipped her head back?
To the
and
best of
removed
my
the knife?
knowledge, she said, give her 2 breaths. Again, you'll check the tape, you'll know.
Rather than seeking a confession outright, detectives guide the suspect into committing to small, seemingly harmless assertions, such as admitting he moved the knife, retrieved towels, or performed CPR. Each admission locks him deeper into a fixed version of events. Later, when contradictions arise, these prior commitments become constraints he cannot easily escape. Summary. From a legal perspective, the interrogation strategically transforms the suspect's narrative into a source of evidentiary weakness. Detectives secure multiple admissions, movement of the knife, interaction with the body, and inconsistent timelines, while exposing contradictions against physical evidence. These statements, though not confessions, become powerful impeachment material at trial. By locking the suspect into a shifting account, prosecutors can argue consciousness of guilt and undermine credibility under cross-examination. Additionally, the suspect's voluntary disclosures preserve admissibility, strengthening the prosecution's case. Collectively, the interrogation lays a foundation where circumstantial evidence, forensic findings, and inconsistent statements converge to support conviction. Gross was ultimately charged and prosecuted for the murder of his mother. After trial proceedings, the court found him guilty of second-degree murder, reflecting the prosecution's ability to demonstrate intent without full premeditation beyond reasonable doubt. He was sentenced to life imprisonment, typically 25 years to life under Florida law.